Okay, so this video, like I said in the previous one, we were just covering how we are actually going to modify all these different walls here. Um, the next thing you need to know is how to place walls. And so placement of walls is important and can have different effects on what you are doing. So I'm going to choose a model line right here. This is just going to be a reference that I can use to show you guys what's going on with things. So I'm going to do 10 foot, 10 foot, and these, again, this is just a reference. You don't need to copy this, but I need this to illustrate what I'm doing when I do. Actually, let's just do another array. Do that, and we'll do 4. I don't know how many I'm going to use. Group. Okay. So when you place walls, how you place walls is important. Okay. So let's pretend that we have that can go away. So we've got 4 10 by 10 rooms here. If I go to my wall menu, search through here, and I get my, where is it? Exterior wall 1. So I'm going to place my exterior wall 1, and I'm going to have all these settings default. So I'm going to do wall center line right here for my location line. And I'm just going to click along here, and you can see that visually you can tell which side of this, because of my settings right now for the detail, you can tell which side of this is the exterior. If I didn't have that, it'd be hard to tell right now. And you can hit spacebar, and as I do that, you can see that the wall kind of changes which side it's facing. That'll become more important later. So I'll do one click right there to place that wall. I'll do another one here and there and there. And that creates this wall, and you can see that the materials themselves actually blend into each other. So Revit's smart enough to go, oh, this wall meets and it's the same thing. So this is all stud layer, it's not separate sections. This is all the sheathing layer, this is all gypsum, this is all exterior siding, right? So it's all happy right there. So let's do another wall, and we're going to change one setting right here. I'm going to change this to, let's do finish face exterior. So now when I start doing this, you can see that it, instead of being centered on that, like this wall was, the face is now on that 10 by 10 line. So as I go around and place this, you can see that it's actually drawn a smaller room than this other one. If I click on this, you can see that the interior space here is 9 foot 6 and 3/4 inches. If I click on this one and we shift that around, this is now 9 foot 1.5 inches. So just that small adjustment of how I was placing this wall is going to completely change the dimensions of this room. I'm sorry if my dog starts howling in a second. Okay. So again, I'm going to do this again, except I'm going to do finish face interior. And I'm going to start tracing this along. Pepper, no thank you. Okay, I'm back. We got our hells out. All right, so I'm going to change this to finish face interior, and I'm going to start drawing this one again. And predictably, as you might imagine, it's going to slightly adjust the way that it was drawing this. So with that one setting, I ended up with, oh, did I not change that? Finish face interior. Oh, dog distracted me. Finish face exterior. And this is should be the smallest of the three, because this is actually even slightly more in offset inside from the other one. 9 foot 1.5. What is this? Oh, did I not? Oh, bleh. Okay. This should have been. No, I thought I did. Oh yeah, no, I already did core center line. Okay, that's how distracted I got. Okay. So here you have the wall center line, you have the finish face exterior and the finish face interior. So depending on how you draw this, you can end up with different room sizes. So you need to plan out, when you get into stuff, how those rooms are actually going to be laid out, right? Another thing I want to show you guys is if I go in here and I do a interior wall. So I'll get my green blue that I created, and then I'm going to find that center line here. Just like AutoCAD, Revit's going to have that little triangle right there that indicates the midpoint. And I'm going to kind of try and snap this. Let's see if it'll let me. No. We'll just do 4 feet out from this wall right here on all these. And so, oh, and I didn't actually change the setting I wanted to do, so let's go back and do that. Okay. So, again, if I do wall center line, come out 4 feet. Oops. Mouse keeps jumping around on me. Okay. come out 4 feet. And so it drew that. When I drew that, you can see again, it's drawing it on the center line, just like it did with the other ones. If I do this one, and this was finish face exterior, and I start drawing this, we're not going to save for now. This is just stuff. Um, do, do, do. Oh, right, we need finish face exterior. So, finish face exterior, place it, and then you can see that it's actually going to have it biased to one side, and this is where I can hit spacebar and toggle which side it's facing. And then if I go over to this one's going to be fairly similar to the other one. It's just going to be, we're using the other face, so interior, and then there. So that's how Revit's going to draw these. It's just how it works. So sometimes if you plan ahead, if you know the exterior dimensions of your structure, then I would use that finish face exterior. If you know the interior dimensions, I would use the finish face of the interior. If you know the dimensions of the concrete pad you're working with, you can actually use the core face exterior and core center line too. I can illustrate if I get the right wall. Let me see if I can find it. There's a couple really, yeah, this one right here. So this one, let's put the face up that way. So you've got that right there. If I was to redraw this with the core center line from this point, you can see that that gives me, it's centered right here on this, on the core. So remember when I was in the menus, oops, I was pointing out where the core is here. So this has a whole bunch of stuff, but that's your core boundary. This specific option for the core center line is going to choose the core, that part of the core. You can also do core exterior, so the exterior side of the core, and of course the interior side of the core. There are times when you will, when this is important, but then there's also plenty of times where you can just go in here and go, okay, well I just need, and you can click the little tiny dots. Do not drag the little tiny dots. And sometimes you can just be like, I need 4 inches or 4 feet right here, and you can just make that adjustment so that this is 4 feet. So there's different ways you can do that. I personally just find it easier to set them right once, and then not have to go back and do a whole bunch of like adjustments in order to get things set correctly. All right. Let's see. All right. Oh, so I also need to show you guys wraps. So you can see right here, we've got this. This was that blue-green wall that I created earlier. Um, when you actually create these, I didn't cover these initially because I want to come back and do this. So you have wrapping at inserts and wrapping at ends. So if I choose wrapping at ends and then exterior, and we'll just move this out of the way, you can see what happens when I hit apply is this must have been the exterior side because it wrapped around to cover what would have been an empty stud area there. For a lot of these interior walls especially, whichever one is fine typically. It doesn't hurt to have it wrap. And then you can also do wrapping it, oops, missed it. You can do wrapping it ends, and you can do something like this. Did that actually, no, it didn't do anything on this particular wall. Probably a terrible place to do the example. And then you can do stuff like with, this one's probably a better one to show. Edit. Let's do exterior on here. Let's do exterior on one, interior on the other. I don't know how it's going to work for that. Yeah, so in this case, you can have, if you want to cover those ends, you undo that so you can see what it actually did. So it took the gypsum right here and it brought it up to cover, well, and this this portion that was on the interior side of the core, it actually had that come up to cover that, what would effectively be sort of structural parts in the middle of the wall that you would see and wouldn't want to actually see, especially if you're selling the project to a client. So that's sort of some of the nitty gritty there on, excuse me, on the walls, as far as actually kind of working with them. So Now that you know how to place them, let's talk about how they actually look when you get them on the page. So I'm going to go to view again. I had my 3D view. We'll do tile views again. And of course they're in the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. I'll just deal with it. So here's the walls that we created. And you can see they're all kind of actually pretty tall, right? So if I click on one of these, oops, that's that, by the way, the red X and green check mark. Get used to seeing that, but we're not going to be really doing stuff with that today. So you can see that these walls kind of look really tall, and it's because they are. If I click on this wall right here, you can see that right now it says top constraint, unconnected, unconnected height 20 feet. So if this doesn't have a top constraint for this wall, it's going to go up to 20 feet. This is something that you can set by default when you edit the wall type. Let's see, that's the sample. I think you can set it. Maybe not. Okay. I think it just defaults to 20 feet then. So what you will need to be doing later on in a lot of the projects that you're going to be working on is actually setting these constraints. So if I have this series of walls right here, and I'm going to do a right to left select so I grab all of them, I can set the top constraint to level 2. And what that's going to do, if I go to, let me pull up one of these elevations. Of course, it's the wrong one. There we go. So in Revit, we have 2 levels in this template anyway. We have 2 levels, level 1 and level 2. Let's see if it'll tile these nicely. Hey, there we go. Okay, no, I closed the wrong one. North, tile. Okay, so you can see that we have level 1, level 2, and if I undo that step, you can see that right there, it just went back up to the other height. So right now, level 1 is at 0 foot 0 inches, level 2 is at 10 feet. So if I tell this to constrain to level 2, then it's going to go to that height, and if at any point I change the level 2 height, say to, let's change this to 12 feet, you can see that this moved up, so it's now taller. You can see that it's taller in this section than it is here, just visually. You can see it's 12 feet here. We can change that to 16 or 17 feet if we want. But the others didn't change because they're not constrained to that height. If I leave this at 17 feet and then take this and also set it to 17 feet, or sorry, rather to level 2, it'll go to that point as well. So that's how you would, this is how you're going to set up different floors, right? So if I have a level 1 and a level 2, then I can take this level 2 and I can do Control C, Control V to do a copy paste. I'm going to put this one at, we'll just put it right there, and then I'll do finish, and I'm going to change this to 20 feet. It's just easier to do it this way, I think. So I've just generated a level 3 right there, so that now I have 3 levels, and if I wanted to be kind of OCD, which you should be in this program, I'm going to set this to be constrained to level 3. And again, like I was showing you with the other thing, if this height changes to say 12 feet, this one moves up, but the other 2 here stay at the same height that they were at. Or other 1? Yeah, because those are all the test walls. Okay. So, keep in mind levels are something that you want to work with and use to your advantage to help you set default heights and things. Now that I've actually set that, we're going to want to go to, let's see, plan views, floor plan, no, manage, because we have it here. Nope, I'm blanking, hold on. Oh yeah, I wanted to create, yeah, I did want to go there. Plan view, floor plan. So because I created this new level right here, level 3, Revit recognizes that it's there, but it didn't create any new floor plans for me here. So to do that, I can go to view, plan views, floor plan, and you can see that there's an option to create a new level 3, and that it has a check mark here for do not duplicate existing views. That's fine for this. We're gonna hit OK right there. And now you can see that we have a level 3 floor plan in view that we can go to, whereas here we just have a level 2 and a level 1 previously. The same thing would apply to ceiling plans. So again, by default, we have a level 1 and level 2. So if you need that in, we can do RCP, level 3, and now we have a level 3 floor plan view right there. So that's how you guys would add new views, and then again, because I created this 3D view earlier, that's also going to be in this. So these are all your views that you can use to move around within Revit. So imagine very shortly, this will get very complicated and busy when you get into a full project. All right, so we have um, all right, I had one other thing to show you guys. Okay, so let me just get rid of these guys right here. Get rid of, nope. Get rid of those chunks of walls. And then this whole series of walls right here. Let me get rid of, all those model lines. And then I'm just going to reset all these so that the top constraint is up to level 2. Just so that we have them all consistent, so I can show you what I'm going to show you next. So one of the things, there we go. All right, so you can see level 0, 1, or sorry, 1, 2, 3. All right, so one last thing I want to show you guys for this, and then we'll be done with this demo, is the actual one last option for the top offset here. So right now we set it to go up to level 2. But if I select, say, this one section of wall right here, you can see just that one, and it's going to be, I think, right here. If I set this top offset to 2 feet, oops, that's not a foot, then I can apply that, right? So now this one wall, it's still constrained to level 2. If I adjust this level 2 to be 12 feet, this is still sticking up that extra 2 feet above here, all right? So you have both top constraints right there, and then you also have base constraints. So if I was to set this to negative 2 feet, and then anytime you want to apply something here, move out. That's something I probably should have pointed out earlier, is anytime you make a change here, let's say I do 3 foot, nothing happens. You can hit apply, but as soon as you move out of this box, it auto apply. Oops. It auto applies that as well. Um, so I find it easier to, instead of just trying to get the mouse to hit the apply, I just move the mouse out here. In a similar fashion, at some point, I guarantee every single person using the program will start typing something, or they'll click here and then move the mouse and then start typing. And you can see when I click in here and then the mouse moves out, it immediately drops me out of this box right here. So make sure when you click in here, you take your hand away from the mouse and don't move the mouse again until you're done actually changing your values. All right. So similar to how that's going, if I was to take, let's get this last section right here. So if I wanted to move this one up to a separate floor, I could set the base constraint 2, top to level 3, and now I've effectively moved this up another floor. You can see it's gone here from my level 1 floor plan, and now it's in my level 2 floor plan. And since I'm here, I should probably show you guys. Oops, not that one. Let's do view range. No. Let's see. Underlay set to level 2. So that way, at least when I'm on my level 3 now, I can see what's directly below my level 3. If I'm on level 2, you can see these slightly darker lines. Let's change that to medium. You can see these slightly darker lines are going to be lines that are coming up from below. This wall, you see how it's thick right there? And it shows a lot of detail. It's the same wall as this, but because this is from the floor below, it's going to only do the borders of it. So those are different kind of context clues that Revit's giving you, that you've got different things going on. And then, of course, these very faint thin lines that I can't even click on, because I can click on that one because it comes up that little tiny bit. that's going to be drawn in a different. You have three different drawing styles because I'm on level 2, and these walls are in different locations. So then level 3, again, it just helps to come into the underlay right here and set the base level so that you can see what's going on underneath you. You can do level 1 too. Um, Hint, this will be useful for your first milestone and your first project, because sometimes it really helps being able to see and get a reference for where the walls are that are below your current floor. But I'm going to set that back to level 2 for now, and that's going to be it for this demo.